Hey everybody. Well, welcome to the Christel Crawford Show. I'm your trusty host, Christel Crawford. Fresh off my Australia tour, home again. It's so nice to be home again. Welcome to the show. I called this week's episode Creating Things Fast, My Secret Tips and Tricks. And you know, I'm always looking for what to talk about every week, and of course this week was no exception. I'm like, what, do I have any words this week? Turns out I do. Hey Alexander, hey Jamie. And I called it this because over the weekend when I was in I was gonna say when I was in Turkey. I was not in Turkey. Nurhan is from Turkey. Just what reminded me. Hey Marcella, hey Kim, hi Susanna, hey Deej. So creating things fast, my secret tips and tricks. Okay, so over the weekend, or whatever it was, earlier this week, while I was in Australia, my friend Shayna and I created a new company. Now, this is you're about to receive the benefit of this company in the next few days. We are putting together our pre-launch before Christmas. There's going to be post-Christmas stuff, and it's items that I've been wanting to create for probably 2 to 3 years that I've literally been slowing down. Now, and so we created this company in about 5 hours with pieces of it, parts of it already having been created over the years. So I want to talk about this from a few different angles because probably most of the questions that I personally get about business and all of that have to do with the speed at which I actualize things. And, you know, if I'm honest, I don't know if everybody's got those same choices available to you. I have a choice for speed that I haven't really seen anybody have. But what I have seen is that I see a lot of people slowing themselves down with thinking. And so I wanted to sort of go through the process a little bit and show you in real time the tools that I used to speed it up and the tools that I use all the time to speed things up so that I don't actually get in my own way. Now I'll share this. Contemporary art Serbian community seems to like to see you. Oh, good. Yay. Hey, listen, guys, if you have anybody that you know would like to watch this conversation, would you just share it, and then we can get some more people live with us. Hey, Krista. Hey, Alexander. And if you guys have any questions about creation, go ahead and ask me, because I did get one in WhatsApp that I'll chat about briefly. So the primary thing that I do to work at the speed at which I can work, now all of you have that. All of you have the speed at which you can function, and then we all have our speeds that we do to control things. Anytime you're functioning at a less than you speed, it's something that you're doing either to mimic other people, duplicate other people, or control things. And so you can just notice that you're doing it and pock and pot it. And that, never mind, everything this is, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all line, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And that crazy thing's the clearing statement, which you can find more out about at theclearingstatement.com. Hi, Billiana. Hi, Evie. Hey, Bear Jam. Hey, give this a share, you guys, and we'll have a little party online. Hey, Olga. Okay, so this company that we just created. So the first thing that I give myself permission to do is function at my speed. Now, it sounds very elemental, but when I'm creating anything, when I'm looking at like creating a landing page or creating an email or creating a company or whatever, the first thing I am with it is, if I were creating this as me, what would I choose? Most of the time that question is, hey from Spain, hi Olga, hi Christina. Most of the time that question is unspoken, but you can speak it as well. If I were creating this as me, what would I choose? And immediately when you ask a question, you start to see things differently. That's the gift of question, is it opens up the possibilities and the awareness of that question. So you got to ask a question that gives you the awareness that you want. What I see a lot of people doing is, how do I create this right? They may not say that out loud, but their functioning is, how do I create this right? And when you're trying to create something right, it's really slow because right doesn't exist. So you have to judge to find the right, and then you have to decide, and then you have to think, and then all that stuff slows it down. So just notice, the first symptom of any of this going on is noticing that things are moving slow, and go, am I trying to figure this out, is a great question. So I sat with this project that we were looking at creating, and I'm like, okay, if I were creating this as me, what would I choose? I happened to know I had a few of the elements already set up. And what you're going to start to notice about yourself is that as you are in the act of creating anything, businesses and whatever, there's going to be pieces of things that you think are for now that end up being for the future. For example, I already had set up a Shopify store. I set it up 6 months back when I thought it was time for that thing. So I already had that set up. I had already set up a limited liability company in the United States like a year ago. I thought I knew what that was for, but after I set it up, it didn't go anywhere. And that's what you're going to find about creating as you, is you're going to have these different pieces that are sort of laying around the shop, your creation shop, that at one point or another you thought was for that time, or you thought was for now, and you didn't know why it just laid there after that, but you couldn't do anything with it. You're going to discover that as you create in this very non-linear way, like creating this and creating that. Hi Claudia, hi Dee. So I already had the shop set up and I already had this LLC set up. I didn't know what I was using them for. I just knew at those times that I had to create that piece, and then it just laid there. Okay, so here I am, had that. Then I asked myself the question, if I wasn't slowing this down, what would I choose? And I ask that a lot, just so you know. A lot of you guys are on my email list and get my emails, and you'll notice them. Many times when I go to write an email, I start with that question. Okay, if I wasn't slowing this down, what would I choose? And then I get different information. Because when you go into the world of technology in particular, but this reality is a technological world right now. Technologically, the technical energies are more predominant than the acoustical energies that we are. And question and choice and possibility and contribution, which are all the things we talk about in Access, are all acoustical choices. So when you start to look at a computer screen, or you start to redo an email, or you start to do anything on the computer, or you walk out of your front door and you start to talk to most people, it's going to be really easy, because you're so psychic, to entrain to the computational, algorithmic thing of this reality. The thing that cuts through that, and trying to get something right, is an algorithmic reality. Last week I did my show on fracking. Frack the insanity, frack the stranglehold of techie reality. I probably won't use that phrase much more because it's pretty access speak. But that reality is very intense. So what cuts through that reality, or trying to get it right, is a question. So I ask many times, if I wasn't slowing this down, what would I choose? I get a different email out of that question than trying to get it right. So again, with creating this thing on Shopify, so I was like, if I wasn't slowing this down, what would I choose? And I got an immediate download of, I would do this, I would do this, I would do this. And so I just let myself go at my speed. The third thing that I do, and I'm going to lose track of these numbers, is I let myself be as ADD as I am. I don't try to control that. I don't try to control not having 10 tabs open and going here and going there and following this and following that. I just let that process play out. Because 9 times out of 10, I lead myself exactly, probably 10 times out of 10. Yeah. I lead myself exactly where I need to go, and I get to where it is I'm going then. Hi Fatima. Hi Shayna. And I just don't try to control that. So again, if I wasn't slowing this down, what would I choose? And then I follow this and follow that, and I open this and I do that. And then the fourth thing I do is I play with other people that are a similar speed. When it comes to instituting things like this, I play with other people that are a similar speed. That's really important, because I don't do all this stuff on my own. So Shayna Fernando works with me on graphics and the look of things. She can do so many other things, but that's her primary role. And she and I function at around the same speed. So it makes instituting things that much faster and that much easier, because we ping, this and that, and we need this, and so you want to play with other people that are a similar speed, okay? And if you don't have anybody in your life right now, just ask, hey, what would it take to have playmates that can go this speed? That's a great question. Yes, I love being in that flow. I wrote a 2023 month program in about 3 hours. Yeah. The fifth thing I'll say about this is that there have been many times when I know I can function at this speed and I try to function at this speed to actualize something, but when it's not time, it won't go. And that is actually probably should be number one, is when something isn't moving at the speed that you think it should, just ask, is now the time, yes or no? And if you get no, just listen to that and move on to the next thing. One of the things we talk about in Access all the time, hey Carrie, hi Brigitte, hi Nikki, is a humanoid, which is those of us that aren't judging everybody else, we judge ourselves. A humanoid needs like 26 things going on at the same time. And so the reason for that is because you're going to think this is a really good idea and try to get it moving, and it won't be necessarily going anywhere, or it won't lift off like it can. And so you need a bunch of things going on at the same time, because you're going to start here and put your energy here and do this over here. And so like farming or having a garden, like this plant's going to pop up sooner and this plant's going to pop up slower, and that's an oak tree, so that's going to take years. And so your attention as the ADD creator that you are is always like engaged with something. Suzanne, I'm kind of afraid of getting it wrong, so I do nothing, standing still, and then I'm not wrong. Yeah, cool, Suzanne, that's true, you're not wrong, and you're also not in the game. And one of the things I challenged everybody to do in some class I taught the last couple of weeks is what would it be like to actually get some skin in the game and actually participate in the creation of anything. If you read chapter 7 in the 10 Keys to Total Freedom called No Competition, withdrawing yourself from the game is actually a form of competition, because then you know you aren't winning, but you're not losing, which is another form of winning. And again, if there was no right and there was no wrong, what would be more fun? What would be more fun than that? So I'd encourage you guys to get some skin in the game and start to play full out. What energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be to play full out with total ease? And everything that doesn't allow it, times of Godzilla, right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, on land, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And if you guys go to that book, The 10 Keys to Total Freedom, you can find it on crystaljoycrawford.com/myfavorite-things. I highly recommend studying that book, because guess what? They actually are the keys to total freedom. Total freedom. Total freedom. Okay, so back to the creating the company. So if it's not time, it's not going to go. Well, it was time. This company is something that we've been energetically generating for probably 2 to 3 years. And we've got ideas in a Slack thread, and we've got, things we already know we want to do. And I've really been sort of visualizing. I just kept getting stuck on wanting to get the actual product right. And when I say right, I mean in the perfect way that I wanted it. And I do mean perfect. But what was happening with that is that I was not following up on my idea, and I was saying I wanted it to be perfect while not doing anything about it. And when I looked at what would create more in the world, it was letting go of control of the product and letting it be what it is. And so that's another trick that I have to use with myself a lot, because I am a perfectionist of magnitude, and when I do something, I want it to be epic. But again, epic is the judgment. It's the judgment of what I've decided is right and good and perfect and correct. And so I use that judgment to slow things down a lot. And you're going to have to get that each of you is going to have your own sort of thing that you do that slows things down. And that for me is definitely my thing. I will use the lie of perfection and the lie of epic to slow things down dynamically. So I know that about myself, thank God. And so when I'm doing that, I just ask a different question. I was like, if I choose, so here I've got this specific idea, but if I choose to do this another way, will it still create? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, done. And so I'll move around my idea and move in another direction with a different way of accomplishing this thing. Then when I'm looking at these different ways of accomplishing this thing, my idea of perfection is over there. Looking at these different ways, I just ask, if I choose this, will it create more? Yes or no? No. Okay, I'm not choosing that way. If I choose this, will it create more? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, choose this way. And that gets the thing moving again. Because now I'm not functioning from conclusion anymore about what the right and good and perfect way is. I'm functioning from, hey, what's going to actually move this forward and what's going to create here? Sure, I have my perfect way of doing it, but is it required for this to occur? Yes or no? No. If I choose something else, will it still create? Yes or no? Yes. Can I be happy with it? Yes or no? Yes. So you see how I actually go straight into questions to get awareness about things. Because awareness is fast, thinking is slow. Awareness is fast, thinking is slow. So part of the skill set to develop in training yourself to be as fast as you actually can be is being willing to find and hear yourself when you start thinking and ask a different question. Literally just go around yourself in a different direction. And kids do this all the time. Kids are like trying to get something accomplished. I just hang out with Shayna's 2 kids over the last 3 or 4 days. And so cool. And just watching them like go for something, and so Ollie is 2.5, and he just wants to be in everything, especially if it's something you're doing and on your computer or something he shouldn't be in, basically. So he would like walk over to me, like wedge himself between my legs, and he'd like start to reach for my computer, you know, and this arm and that arm and that arm. And if I blocked him, he would just try to go around it. If I blocked him, he'd just try to go around it, right? They don't have a point of view that they can't have what they want. And then when I was very clear that he couldn't have what he wanted, you know, then he'd throw like a 5-second fit and then go find something else. But that is great. Great example of how we could choose to be if we wanted. Instead, I see a lot of us like standing at the brick wall of the thing that won't move going, how do I get you to move? There must be something wrong with me. No. You're just aware. You just want to go around it and either add something else to your plate or try it in a different way. Okay? So, cool. So I'm trying to look at what else that I have functioned from. So basically, like at that point, you know, I'm looking at, can I do this in a different way? So I added all these things to our thing. I know I'm being very vague with this thing right now, but I'll show it to you in the next few days. And we were getting it built. And so then there was a lot of elements of this project that brought up this perfectionist thing that I do. And again, as soon as the way I get around myself a lot. That's really probably my top trick, is I get around my own need for perfection. I'll run into the thing for perfection. I'll feel the solidity of it. I'll feel myself start going into head tripping. And then I'm like, okay, well, if this element, like for example, if I'm building a landing page, right? That was part of this project. And they give you a suggested template, so you can sort of play with that template, which is great because I had something to start with. And I'll start with that. And if I continue to try to like make an element work, for example, like there on this particular page, there was an image with a text. And neither one of us, we were both looking at this little element on this page going, what do we want to do with this? And then I realized, oh, we don't have to use it. So if I continue to get stuck in a particular, like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do with this. What should we do with this? And I will stop at that point and then just interrupt with like, well, do I need this? Is it required? Do we even have to have this? And I'll go in a different direction with that thing. So if something isn't creating, I literally will just like turn around and just start in a different direction with something, like eliminate it completely, put something random in there. I do something to interrupt whatever kind of linearity is happening. Hey, Emma. What else? So then I think so that was really, I mean, that's really a description of the tools that I use in the creation of a thing. The first part of a creation of a thing. But it's also really easy to like get maybe like the first part of a project created and then not do anything with it, like not get it into the world, not invite people, not do the next part of the creation, which is the inviting and the actualizing people, paying people in your classes, in your programs, and as clients into your shop. And so when I realize one sort of part, phase one is complete, or as complete as it needs to be right now, that's the other question I ask. Because something you can always add things to things, like especially if you've got a shop or whatever, because you can always add, you can always make it better, you can always keep painting on a painting. When I get to that sense where I don't really want to add anymore, I don't want to do anymore, I just ask, is this enough for now? And somebody said, how do you get answers for your questions? I get awareness for my questions, which is different than answers, but I ask questions that are a yes-no question. So I don't go into thinking at all. So when you ask a question, when you ask an actual question, there's going to be an awareness that pops up. or shows up over the next 24, 48, 56 hours, whatever. But I ask a lot of yes, no questions to get awareness, to take myself out of thinking. So anytime you are thinking about a question more than a split second, you're into thinking. Anytime you have something instant, that's awareness. So I'll ask a question with a yes, no. So truth, will this create more? Yes or no? Yes, done. And I go literally where my mouth goes. Truth, will this create more? Yes or no? If you'll sense the answer instantly, the response instantly. And it's something you're going to just have to play with. But you can't play with this with preference questions. Truth, do I want to do this? Yes or no? That's not an actual question. Do I want to do this is you trying to get a validation for something you've already chosen. Will this create more? Is a question. If I choose this, will it be fun? Yes or no? Is a question. If I choose this, will they be grateful after? Yes or no? Is a question. If I choose this, will my life get greater? Yes or no? Also a question. If I choose this, will I make $100? Not a question. If I choose this, will it make me money? Yes or no? That's a question. Will it make you cash? We don't know. So just a little question tutorial. Okay, that's how I play with that. Cool. So once I get a sense like the first phase is over and I'm into like the second phase, that's what we're into now. We're into the second phase of creation. So we're into like creating the first launch, inviting you guys. We're creating how we want to do that. So that's the next phase of creation. The same questions apply. So as I've been talking to people, I've been connecting with a guy that's really, really great at sales strategies. I've connecting with a person who's really great at Facebook ads. I'm connecting with my graphics, with Shayna, who's our graphics genius. I've been talking to other people on the team to see if they have any ideas. So I'm collecting information. So I'm like, the question I ask is, who knows more about this than I do that I could talk to? So that's the question to ask there. Who knows more about this than I do that I could talk to? Because I'm committed to launching it. It's happening. Now it's how do we make it successful? Is there a way to make it successful? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Who can I talk to contribute to that? So I'm sort of collecting information right now. And as I'm collecting information, and this is how it will go, you're going to get a lot of points of view, right? I've got this guy's points of view and that guy's information and this guy's information and all this. And you get to choose what you're doing with all of it. And you could slow yourself down very, very easily by going into thinking and trying to figure it out and trying to figure out who's right and ignoring yourself. Or you could collect all the information. It's like having a bunch of candies in a bowl and going, okay, cool. What's going to move this forward faster? That's a key question I ask. What's going to move this forward faster? We have all these ideas right now, for example, about SEO and Instagram and all this stuff that's really more of a long-term plan for this particular product line, which we're going to do. But for now, we've got the holidays right in front of us. We've got those of you guys that want to buy cool stuff. We've got, Black Friday coming up. It's like go time right now. So what can we create right now that would get this out in the world right away? That's another question I ask. Asking others' contribution or experience is not easy for me. So that's where I would use the tool interesting point of view. I have this point of view because not easy is just as much of a choice as easy, but not easy may be your easiest choice. So interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view is what you want to start to use on all this stuff that will come up as you're doing this process. Because I know you'll have stuff come up. But if not easy is a choice, easy is also a choice. And so what could you begin to choose in these areas where you haven't yet chosen what you'd like to choose? And how do you begin to make those choices available to you? If not easy has been your easiest choice and easy isn't your easiest choice, what would it take to make easy your easiest choice? And I guess on the back of that, I will say that I am dedicated and committed to ease. I have chosen ease as a functional reality. And so all of my shows and all the tools that I'm going to share with you come from that place of like, hey, listen, I'm not having this be hard. I don't like hard. It's not fun for me. I like easy. I'm committed to easy. So, cool. right? So all of this stuff will actually come out of that commitment. So good for you that you're watching this, and if you want ease as a reality, you can choose it. But you have to demand of yourself that no matter what it takes, you're going to have ease. And once you demand that of yourself, your life will get easier, because that's how that works. Adelie, great info. Thank you. I will watch from the start in the replay. Stuff is shifting just listening to you. That's amazing. I'm so glad. And hey, you guys, I've got a couple of foundation classes coming up in North America. If you guys are in North America, man, I'd get your ass to one of these classes. I've got one happening in Toronto right after Christmas. Flights are crazy cheap from the States even to Toronto. If you've never been to Canada, come on up. And I've got a beautiful, beautiful Airbnb booked in Florida that you can stay at and come do foundation with me, body classes, talk to the entities intro, happening at the beginning of January. So check them out. Tons of other classes all around the world on the Access site too, accessconsciousness.com/Christel Crawford. Jane, still learning that one, how to demand. Well, Jane, it's like, how do you stand up? You just do. There's a really great section in the Advanced How to Become Money workbook. Again, you can find that link on ChrystelJoyCrawford.com, my favorite things, that talks about demand and talks about the enthusiasm that comes with demand. That, hey, Emma, hey, Chantal. Once you make a demand, the enthusiasm that comes out of that, like, invites the whole world to contribute to you. So you can check that out in the Advanced How to Become Money workbook. I really recommend that book too. So, where was I? Right. So today, for example, with this new creation, so it got created, it's actualized. Now we need to do the second part of creation, which is getting it out in the world. Today, I've been gathering all that information, and I'm really aware that it needs to go out in the next couple of days. So here's where you never want to give up your awareness of timing for anybody. Nobody's point of view, nobody's information. Don't give up your awareness of timing, because you know. So you're going to have a sense, you just will. That's how that works, of when. And I know it needs to get out in the next couple of days. So with that as awareness, I'm functioning differently with this. I'm taking in a lot of stuff. I'm listening to all of it, and I'm just taking it and going, okay, cool. What do I need to take from this to actualize this now? What of this is going to contribute to this actualizing now? I've got all these ideas, all these things that can be added. Is this required right now? Yes or no? Is this required right now? Yes or no? Is this required right now? Yes or no? And with all of those questions, things are starting to come into fruition. I mean, there's so many things that I want to do when I launch something new. I want to set up a new email list, and I want a new domain, and we need to get a Facebook pixel, and some of that stuff I've put in place. We have a Facebook page, we've got an Instagram, because those things take minutes. But you do have to stay aware of timing, and don't let all the details slow it down. Ask if they're required right now. Okay? That's really, really important. And if they're not, just skip them and add them later. And I think that's kind of it. Literally, that whole process that I just described to you is constantly going on in my world all the time as I'm creating new programs and new things. And, and the other, I guess my final tip, and then we'll take off. Hey, Tom. Hi, Carmen. Is I make sure I have enough to do. That I have enough going on. I know I mentioned that in the middle of the show, that humanoids need enough going on, but I'm not kidding. When you don't have enough going on, when I was a waitress and I worked in a slow restaurant, I was the worst waitress on the planet. When I had a packed out restaurant and I was like running my face off and not even sure if I was going to survive the day, I was the best server, waitstaff on the planet, because I had enough to do. And you got to get that about yourself. Like, if you do not have enough going on, you will kill what you're creating, because you need to be working on this and working on this and having this going on and starting this over here and putting out that fire and then handling this, for you to work at your optimum. ADD, ADHD is not a disease. It's a capability. And you've got to get that if you don't use yourself to your full extent, you're going to struggle. And so that's probably my biggest secret to creating as fast as I do, is having way too much going on, too much, more than I can handle. So I think that's it for today. But if you guys would share this, if it contributed to you, I'd be really grateful. And Check out the live classes I've got going on everywhere. This is a live class year, man. There's an online program coming for entrepreneurs in the next week, creating a business even when you think you can't, online. So that's probably going to be a 3-month program where we start to look at instituting all of your systems for your online stuff, getting the beginnings of your base built, supporting you in all the technical things, and of course access tools. So that's coming if that's interesting to you. But check out accessconsciousness.com/Christel Crawford and find a live class near you. I've got 2 North American ones right off the top, and then South Africa, more body classes in Toronto. I've got Mauritius is coming, England, and the Netherlands, on and on. We're going to add Turkey and India later in the year. So lots of choices for you. I'm super grateful for you, and I will see you guys. I'll see you guys next week. Big love.